Hi there, second grade. Welcome to week 8. Congratulations on finishing chapter 9 in your math book. This week we're going to be reviewing chapters 7 through 9 in a worksheet, and then we're going to be moving on to chapter 10, which is all about 4-digit place values. So we're going to be working with numbers in the thousands now. So I'm going to go over this worksheet with you really quickly. Again, this is stuff we've been doing the past 2 chapters, so it should be familiar to you by now. On numbers 1 through 9, you are just adding these 3 numbers together, okay, and writing the sum on the line. Here, you're going to rewrite the problems from horizontally to vertically. Make sure you're lining up the tens place and the ones place, and making sure you're paying attention to the sign, adding or subtracting. Down here, I've been going over this and stressing this with each time we've been doing it. You're rounding the numbers, estimating the numbers, and finding the exact sum or difference. So this has 3 problems in it on each of these. There's actually 3 steps to solving the answer. So I'm going to go over numbers 13 and 17 with you on a separate sheet of paper. So let's look at that really quick. Okay, right here. 35 plus 17. First step, it says to round the numbers. Let's do that. 35 comes between 2 groups of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Those are all our tens. So 35 comes between 30 and 40. Because there's a 5 in the ones place, we know we're going to round up to 40. So 35 is close to 40. 17 comes between the 10 and 20. And because there's a 7 in the ones place, we're going to round up to 20. So we rounded the numbers. Let's estimate the sum. 0 plus 0 is 0. 4 plus 2 is 6. Now, the third step. Okay, we've been doing these kind of problems for the past couple of weeks. And this always seems to trick us up, is making sure you're reading the directions. If it says to find the exact sum or difference, you need to go back to the original numbers and find the answer. So that's what it says to do on these ones. So 5 plus 7 is 12. I'm going to put a 2 in the ones place. Carry that group of 10 to the tens place. 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. 52. Very good. 52 is pretty close to 60. I'd say we have a correct guess. So again, we're going to do the same thing with number 17, except number 17 is a subtraction problem. First step, let's round those numbers. 73 is between 70 and 80. And since there's a 3 in the ones place, that means we're going to round down to 70. 73 is closer to 70. 39 comes between 30 and 40. The 9 means we're really close to the next group of 10, so we're going to round up to 40. Alrighty, and here comes the tricky part. What did this sign say? It said subtract, so let's do that. Subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 7 minus 4 is 3. We are subtracting on this one. All right, so we rounded the numbers, we estimated the difference. Let's find the exact sum, because that's the third step. All right, going from top to bottom, 3 take away 9. Can I do that? No, and we don't start at the bottom and take away from the top. Okay? If I have $39, I can't take away 73 because I don't have enough. Always start at the top and go to the bottom. So 3 take away 9, can't do that. I need to go next door and regroup. That 7 becomes a 6. This 3 becomes a 13. 13 minus 9, I can do that now. 13 minus 9 is 4. And 6 minus 3 is 3. 34 is my exact answer. 30 was my estimate. And I'd say those are fairly close, that we have a correct answer. So that's what you're going to be doing on numbers 13 through 18. Now on the back side, there are some story problems. You're going to need to remember your keywords if it's asking you to add or subtract. Okay, I'm going to leave this one up to you as your review. See how well you do with it. Carefully read and look for keywords that tell you if you're going to add or subtract. And here we're going to solve and check our answers. Remember, when you're checking your work, you use the inverse operation. Okay, so if you're adding, you're going to check by subtracting. Okay, whole minus part equals part, and part plus part equals whole. Okay, we check our answers. 83 minus 35, that means you're going to take the two parts, add them together to get the whole number. Okay, I trust that you'll be able to do this one on your own as well. Again, this is a review page. This is going to let me know what we need to go over again, maybe. So do your best, and I have full confidence that you will do well. Alrighty, second grade. So getting into chapter 10, we're going to work on 4-digit numbers. And we know that we've been working with ones, which are the smallest of our place value. We've been working with groups of 10, which are 10 ones fit into this 10 stick. We've been working with hundreds, which we know that it takes 10 sticks to make up 100th block. So we have ones, tens, hundreds, and now we're going to be working with thousands. Now 1,000 is this big block because it takes 10 of the 100 blocks to fit in this. And I will show you. This is 1, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. And when we get to 10 groups of 100, we don't say 1000, we say 1,000. These are equal, they're flat. I can turn it on its side here carefully and show you that they are the same. It takes 10 hundreds blocks to make 1,000. Okay? So we're going to be working with the thousands place today. So on your worksheet, the thousands blocks look like this. They are green. They're a big green cube. And it says that thousands are sets of 10 hundreds. So 10 of these 100 blocks makes 1,000. So here it shows you in a place value chart. This is the thousands place, the hundreds place, the tens place, the ones place, which we're familiar with this setup. Now we're just adding another place value, the thousands. And here in the thousands, we have this comma. That's not a mistake. It's not a smudge on paper. We put that there to show where the thousands place is and where the hundreds place is separated. So this is very important when you're writing things in the thousands place to make sure that you have this comma. So it says 2,000s, 300, 1, 2, 3, 5 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1,000 is how many hundreds? Well, 1,000 is made up of how many of these 100 blocks? So here it says write the number. One of these would be 1,000. How many would two of these be? 2,000. And the thousands place has a comma and 3 zeros. Comma and 3 zeros. Because that means 0 hundreds, 0 tens, and 0 ones. So on the front page, you are just writing how many thousands you have. On the back page, we're going to be going over the 4-digit numbers in a place value chart. So you're going to say, how many 1,000 blocks do you have? And write it in the thousands place. How many hundreds blocks do you have? How many 10 blocks? And how many ones? Remember, if there's not any hundreds, or there's no tens, or there's no ones, you put a 0 there as your placeholder. And at the bottom, you have a review of addition and subtraction, what we've been doing the past 2 weeks. Okay, so now that we've gone over the place value with the thousands place, the hundreds, and the tens, and the ones, we're going to be doing that and talking about what each place value means. We've done this before with the hundreds place and the tens place and the ones place. Now we're just adding one more. And we're going to be talking about expanded and standard form. Okay, so standard form is exactly how you would write a number. 2,358 pelicans. So I'd say there's 2,000s, comma, we need a comma, 358. Okay, 2,358, comma between our thousands and our hundreds place. So if I was to write that in standard form, I would say it would be 2,000, comma, 358. Now, expanded form tells me what each of these digits means. So I'd say, what does the 2 mean? It means 2,000. It means 2,000. That 2 means there's 2,000 blocks in there, a 2,000 block. I'd say plus, what does the 3 mean in the hundreds place? It means 300. Plus, what does the 5 mean in the tens place? 5 tens would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And the 8 in the ones place is just 8 ones. Expanded form tells me what each of these means. Standard form is just the regular way we write a number. So here, you're going to be filling in your place value chart. You're going to fill in how many blocks you have of each, and then you're going to tell me what does each digit mean. This 1 in the thousands place means 1,000. This 3 in the hundreds place means 300. This 3 in the tens place means 30, and this 6 in the ones place means 6, and that would equal what number? It would equal 1,336 in the standard form. So you're going to be practicing writing it in the chart, writing it in expanded form, and writing it in standard form. We have done this with the hundreds place before. We're just adding one more place value. Same thing here. We have thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. This time they're just not spelled out. TH means thousands, H is hundreds, T is tens, O is ones. So you're going to tell me what is in the place value. 7,290 and 0 ones, 7,290. Okay? So expanded form, standard form. Expanded means tell me what each digit means. Standard form means write it like you would write it normally. Down here, it says write the value of the pink digit. So it's going to give you a digit and it's going to say, what does it mean? What is that? What number is it showing you? So for example, in mine, on this one, if it told me this was my digit, the 9 in the tens place, well, I would say that the 9 in the tens place means 9 tens, and I would write out the word, and I know that 9 tens is equal to 90. Or if it gave me this digit, 3, I would say, well, the 3 means 3 hundreds. I would write out the word, and 3 hundreds is equal to 300. Okay. So on this one, it's asking you to tell me what the value of the pink digit is. So if it's in the tens place, you're going to say it's that many tens, and then you're going to write what number that would make. Down here, write the next four numbers. This says to count by ones. This says to count by tens. This says to count by hundreds, and this says to count by thousands. Okay? Thousands count by 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and so on and so forth. Okay? The only thing that's changing when I'm counting by the thousands place is the number in the thousands place, how many blocks I have. Okay? So use that to help you on numbers 11 through 14. Okay? Down here, putting 4-digit numbers in order. When you're putting 4-digit numbers in order, you look at what is in the biggest place value. So here it says, you know the numbers that come before and after 4. 3 is first, then 4, then 5. You know the numbers that come before and after 74, 73, 74, 75. You also know the numbers that come before and after 174, 173, 174, 175. Trace the numbers before and after 2,174, 2,173, 2,174, 2,175. So here it's going to ask you to write the number that comes before, that becomes between, or that comes after each number. So this one, 1,458, 1,459. Okay? The only number you're changing is in the ones place. It's one before. So one before 5,207, what number comes right before 7? It would be 5,206. And then you're going to do the ones that come after 6,247, but before 6,249. All right, so the numbers before, the number between, and the number after. Okay, we're just counting on by ones, either before by ones, what number comes between, or counting after by 1. On the back side, you're going to be putting the numbers in the correct order from the smallest to the biggest, and it already gives you the first one. So 3,164, the next would come 3,165. Same thing with this group of numbers. And finally, this one looks very intimidating, but all you're doing is filling in the missing numbers from left to right. We're filling in this chart from 1,200 to 1,299. So follow the pattern: 1,200, 1,201, 1,202, 1,203, 1,204. What would come next? 1,205. I know you all know how to count, so I'm pretty sure this one will be fairly simple for you. Don't forget to put in those commas between the thousands place and the hundreds place. I will be looking for that, so make sure that you have those written in there. The last worksheet and the worksheet after, we're going to be comparing 2-digit numbers. So when you're comparing 4-digit numbers, when you're comparing two numbers, we always look at the number with the greatest place value. So this says that there are 2,316 seagulls and 1,243 sandpipers. Those are both types of birds. So just like in ABC order, where we look at the first letter, that's the same thing we do when we're comparing 4-digit numbers. We look at the first number that has the same place value. So in this one, they both have a thousands place. So I'm going to look at them and say, which one is more, 2,000s or 1,000? And this one that I know 2,000 blocks is double of 1,000 block. So I know that 2,316 is greater. 2,316 is greater than 1,243. So on this page, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be looking at the place value and saying which one is greater, which one is less. So here, this one has a 3 in the thousands place. This one has a 5 in the thousands place. Which one is bigger? And this one has a 2 in the thousands place. This one has a 1 in the thousands place. Which number is bigger? Remember, we always start with the biggest place value first. On the back side, this one's a little bit more tricky because it's asking you to look at the different place values. This one says which has more thousands, which has more hundreds, which has more tens, which has more ones, which this might change. So here, I would say which has more thousands? Which has more thousands? Well, the one that has more thousands is this one, which has more hundreds. Well, this has 300s, this has 200s, this one has more hundreds. But then if I look at the tens place, which has more tens? This one only has 1 10, this one has 4 tens, so this one would have more tens, but it is not the greater number. So carefully read what it's asking you to look at. Which has more thousands? Well, the thousands place is right here, a 4 or a 5, and you're going to fill in the numbers. This number is greater than this number. This one, which has more tens? Well, they have the same amount of thousands, the same amount of hundreds. Which one has more tens? This number is greater than this number. Which has more hundreds? Okay. Thousands place, hundreds place, which has more hundreds? This number is greater than this number. When two numbers have the same number in the first place value, we go to the next place value and we decide which one is greater there. And if those are the same, then we go to the next place value. And if those are the same, we go to the next place value, just like when we are doing ABC order. So down here, write greater than or less than. Start with the thousands place. If you can tell which one is bigger just from looking at the thousands place, then you write your greater than. But if they both have the same number in the thousands place, you go to the hundreds place. Well, those have the same number in the hundreds place, so I would go to the tens place. So which one would be bigger, 1 10 or 2 tens? 2 tens. So you need to carefully compare their place values. Down here, write the number from least to greatest. Least to greatest, okay? So all of these have a 2 in the thousands place, so that doesn't tell me which one comes first. So I'm going to need to go to the next place value, the hundreds. Which one was the smallest in the hundreds place? And that number would be the least. Least to greatest means you write the least number at the top and the greatest number at the bottom. Smallest to biggest. And the same with number 17. Review, again, is just practicing adding or subtracting double-digit numbers. Carefully look at your signs. And finally, we're going to put those place value to the test with a graph. Now, we just talked about graphs last week. This is a pictograph. It says bushels of produce grown in Grant County. So it has the types of produce, things that are grown to be sold, corn, soybeans, alfalfa, and green beans. And then it says, here is our key, each basket means 1,000 bushels. A bushel is like a group. So each of these counts by 1,000. Count by 1,000s to read this graph. Read the graph and circle the answers. How many bushels of soybeans were grown in Grant County? Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 baskets, but it says each basket is 1,000. So am I going to say just 6? No, because this is 1,000 plus another 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 1,000. That'd be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So I would circle the number 6,000 bushels. Which crop produced the most bushels? You need to look at the graph. Which one was the most? How many more bushels of soybeans than green beans were grown? You're going to need to subtract how many more. There were 6,000 soybeans and 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 green beans. 6,000 minus 3,000, what number would that be? And this one, how many bushels of green beans and alfalfa were produced all together? All together means add. You're going to need to add up the amount all together. Green beans plus alfalfa. Remember, we're working with thousands in this graph. On the back side, here we have another type of graph, a bar graph. We talked about this one last week as well. Grant County Hobby Shop sales. So this shop sells kites, doll houses, model trains, collectible cards, and radio-controlled cars and planes. And each of these marks is 1,000. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. It says how many model trains were sold at the hobby shop. You're going to need to go to the model trains, follow the bar all the way, and go at the end of the bar, follow it down. 5,000 trains. Were there more doll houses or collectible cards sold? Look at your graph. Doll houses, collectible cards. How many more model trains were sold than kites? How many more means subtract. Here were the model trains. Here were the kites. You're going to need to find the difference between those numbers. And if you owned the shop, which item would you be sure to have available? Which one would sell the most? Use your graph to help you find an answer. And finally, fill in the chart. You're going to start here at 3. You're going to add 4, which is 7. Take away 6 from 7 would leave you with 1. Add 5 and you get 6. Your final answer is 6. So here, 2 plus 4, find your answer. Then take away 6 from that answer. Then add 5 to that answer. And that's your final answer. I think that you'll be able to do really well on this chapter on your own. If you need some help, don't be afraid to ask your parents to send a message. I would love to set up a time with you. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's how we learn. And if there are any other questions that I can answer, I will answer them in our Zoom meeting on Thursday as well. Good luck.